squats. So to start off with, we can have our feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointed out. All right. When we do a squat, whatever moves first gets used the most. So if you drop your knees first, all the weight's going to come through your knees, which we don't want. We want all the weight to go through our hips. So when we start our squat, we just push our hips out slightly, and what you're going to feel is all the weight goes onto your heels, which is a good thing. When you drop down into squat, after you've pushed your hips out, you keep your knees out so that they track in the same direction as your toes, and you drop down. When you're at the bottom of the squat, you're going to think about pushing your heels through the ground to stand up. All right, don't think that you're standing up. Push your heels down so that when you do that, you activate all up the back of the leg and into the glutes. If you're on the front of your feet, yeah, all the weight's going to go through your knees and your quads, which you don't want. So you want to be sitting on your heels, push your heels through the floor, and stand up. From the side, we push our hips out just a little bit, so all the weight's on our heels, drop down, and then at the bottom, I'm thinking about pushing my heels through the floor to stand up. At the bottom of the squat, do not lift your bum, so don't do this, and then stand up. It's not an efficient way to move. You're pushing the floor down with your heels. Also at the top of the squat, you're not sticking your bum out. You're just doing a little hinge where the hips move back and your body, the upper body moves slightly forward. You drop down and you push the floor away with your heels. And there's your squat. For prenatal, all right, as the bump gets bigger, your balance is going to change. And also with the relaxin moving through your body, you might feel little pangs in your pelvis, a little bit of pain, or it just might feel uncomfortable. So you may not feel good about going into a low squat. So what you can do a box squat, and all you do is you stand in front of the box, hips back, drop down, touch the box, and stand up. You are getting a good range of motion because you can see I was almost at parallel with my knees and my hips at the same height. Hips back, and drop down, and stand up. What you want to make sure you're not doing when you sit down is that you do this, all right? Hands up, hips back, drop down, touch the box, push the heels to the floor, stand up, and squeeze the bum. You also want to make sure that you're nice and tight. Even though you're pregnant, you want to be pulling that tummy towards the spine, all right? You want to keep nice and braced. Nothing should be loose when you're doing a squat. So you pull everything nice and tight, hips back, drop down, and stand up. For postnatals, it's exactly the same. You may not feel that you can get to a low squat, so you can continue doing box squats until you feel like your hips are opening up a little bit more because they may have got tight, and because your hips are changing in pregnancy, getting down low may feel quite uncomfortable. So you continue your box squats until you feel that you can take that box away and get a little bit lower, and that you feel a bit stronger to be able to not use it. Also with postnatal, you've got to brace as well. Pelvic floor, tummy in, and keep nice and strong when you do the squat.